To the rabbits of Ayante, she is considered to be their leader. To humans, she is like a fountain of good luck, if you can find her, that is. And to a certain moon rabbit, this fellow rabbit is a big prick. I will refer to said rabbit as Tay. Hello, Magi here, and welcome back to another episode of Character Profile, the series where I take an in-depth look of a character from games, print work, fan-related stuff, and anything that can be attributed to Tay will be discussed here. So without further ado, let's begin the character profile for Tewi Inaba. Name and their meaning. To start off, let's look at her name. Her full name is Tewi Inaba. Unlike Raisin, the Inaba in Tei's name is written using kanji, which refer to the Inaba province, Inaba no Kuni, in historical Japan. Additionally, the legend of the White Rabbit of Inaba, or Inaba no Shirosaki, aka the Hair of Inaba in English, is a story with which Tei is frequently associated and may well be the source of her name. The Wi in Tei is a kana that was used in classical Japanese language but is now nearly obsolete in modern Japanese. In present day Japanese, the Wi is pronounced the same as I, meaning that her name is phonetically read as Tei, romanized as Tei. Why the old kana is used in her name is not explained, but it can be assumed that Zune chose to use it so as to lend a more ancient feeling to her character. The official romanization of her given name was written as Tei, which I'll be showing on the screen, in Imperishable Night, but this Tei in Phantasmagoria, Perfect Memento, and the data files for Hopeless Masquerade. That's a good way to make things bloody confusing. Character appearance. Let's see her appearance throughout the series. When she first appeared in Imperishable, she had dark red eyes, black shoulder-length hair, and white fluffy rabbit ears. She is dressed in a frilly pink nightgown and had nothing on her feet. When she appeared in Phantasmagoria, she wore white socks and a carrot necklace. In Silent Sinner, it's shown that she's wearing shoes. In Wild and Horned Hermit, it shows that she's wearing no shoes, but this time her dress has long sleeves as all of her appearances beforehand had no sleeves. Her alternative outfit in Phantasmagoria was the same except her dress is black. Appearance in games and print work. Let's look at what games she had appeared in. Now her first appearance would have to be in Imperishable Night. Here she appears in Stage 5 like Raisin trying to stop the girls from reaching Eren and Kaguya. The thing is, Tei was only Stage 5's mid-stage boss, and even then she had no dialogue at all, similar to many mid-stage bosses. She shows up in Phantasmagoria, a flower view. Instead of being a dinky-ass mid-stage boss, she's a full-fledged character with her own story mode. Tei dashed out to enjoy the flower blooming. She forgot to tell anyone where she was going, causing Raisin to go after her. That's one hell of an upgrade in terms of status, from mid-stage to playable characters. I know some others would kill to have the honor of being playable. Tei shows up as a boss in Shoot the Bullet. Here, Aya tries to get a photo of Tei's spell card. Tei shows up in Stage 4-3 and 4-8. Tei appears in Hopeless Masquerade as a background character. You'll find her in the Human Village stage with the other members of Ayante, Kaguya, Eren, and Raisin. Here, you'll see her cheering for the battle while holding on to some type of beer. She appears in Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, but only in an ending. She shows up in Urban Legend, but only in Raisin's battle intro. Here, she'll push Raisin into the battle, so she won't appear in Vanilla Urban, but she'll show up in the PS4 version and Antinomy as Raisin is a fighter in the game. Let's look at Tei when it comes to print works. So she's in Bohemian where Aya tries to interview the rabbit. Tei is pulling a donation scam and Aya knows it. Hell, even when Tei is called out for it, she still tried to scam Aya. And it worked. Sorta, anyway, as Aya fully was aware she was being scammed. Now that's ballsy if anything. She appears in Perfect Memento where Aku makes an article for Tei. She's in Strange and Bright Natured Deity as a secondary character. She's in Silent Sinner as a secondary character. In Cajun Lunatic, she's a secondary character. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a story told in her point of view. She's most definitely in Inaba of the Moon and Inaba of the Earth as the main character. Like mentioned in previous profiles, the canonicity of the work is debatable given the nature of the work. Still, it's best to mention. She's an Oriental with a few cameos. She's in chapter 12 and 18. She's in Forbidden with one cameo, chapter 3. In Walden Horror Hermit, she's got much more appearances. She has a cameo in chapter 18, 20, 34, and 36. She gets a more talkative role in chapter 31 where she discussed some things with Kazin about rabbits. She's in Strange Creators of Outer World, Volume 2 Profile section. Personality. Let's see how Tei behaves normally. She has a very mischievous personality but can be cowardly and shifty. That's not something you want to deal with. She is extremely emotional to the point that her personality is not unlike a fairy's. At least you're not as weak as one. I think, anyway. Tei is a very lighthearted and playful yokai that's known to lie at times. That's an understatement. She even tries to scam Aya out of pocket change during Phantasmagoria. Tei is a prankster, many of them inflicted towards Raisin. Better you than me, that's for sure. While she's a playful yokai, it doesn't mean she's not helpful. Quoted by Eren, she'd be beside you before you know it, and she disappeared just as quickly. Still, she'd always be around when you really needed her. As trolly and annoying as she can be, it appears that if even Eren can rely on her, there may be more to Tei than we think. Occupation/jobs. When it comes to this, she doesn't have a real occupation aside from being the leader of the rabbits in Aente. It's a little better than Kaguya, kinda. General information/backstory. Let's look at Tei's backstory as there's some cool stuff about it. After taking good care of her health and living for a long time, Tei became a yokai rabbit. She had become known as the rabbit of good fortune among humans for the good luck she brought them. She is more than 3,000 years old, referred from a statement she made in chapter 18 of Silent Sinner, where she said she knew Lord Daikoku, also known as Okinushi, personally, and was confident that he made better medicine than even that which Eren was preparing. Now that's a pretty bold statement right there, girl. To outclass Eren when it comes to making medicine, I'll be damned. It's possible that she's the white hair of Inaba itself. She has existed since the bamboo forest of the lost was known as the tall grass cluster, and is said to be the only being that knows it completely. However, it appears that she never found out that Lord Daikoku, whom she reveres so much, was taken captive and is sealed at his shrine in Izumo to this day. She and the Earth Rabbits continue to pound mochi in his name, much to Raisin's annoyance, who was insisting on them pounding it in a Lunarian's figure's name. The Earth Rabbits do their thing and the Moon Rabbits do their thing. Tei had lived in the bamboo forest before Aente was built. Despite Kaguya's power over eternity concealing it, in Cage and Lunatic, Tei said that she knew it was always there. She finally made herself known to Eren after a few hundred years. By then, Tei had already achieved enlightenment. She was the master of the bamboo forest and the rabbits that lived there. Eren and Tei made a deal. Tei would protect Aente from humans, and in return, Eren would spread her knowledge to the rabbits. Perhaps this was so the beast could keep up with the yokai, Yokai Mountain, humans, and later vampires in Gensokyo's delicate power balance in perfect memento. When you have a Lunarian genius on your side, I can imagine it would make things a bit easier. Tei abides by the deal to this day, when she isn't playing pranks on Raisin or scamming Gensokyo's general populace at least. True that. Titles! Tei doesn't have much titles, but let's go through them. She has Rabbit of the Earth, Bear White Rabbit of Good Fortune, Herd of Leaping Rabbits, and the Bear Rabbit of Fine Words and Flattery. Abilities/powers. Let's look at Tei's abilities or powers. Now Tei has the ability to grant great fortune to humans, which does sound awesome. Issue is you got to find her first, and being situated in a place called the Bamboo Forest of the Lost doesn't make things easier. The fortune may not last long though. In a Q's article, quoted, "Good fortune does not last very long, so you may have exhausted your share by simply making it back safely from the forest. If you do get lost and do leave the forest, that's all the fortune might have been used." To be fair, if I was lost in the forest, I'd definitely use that fortune to get out. Due to her ability, she's rather popular among human even when she's a yokai. And to quote from a Q once more, incidentally, compared to a 4-leaf clover, her good fortune is on the order of a 40-leaf clover. That's some hardcore luck right there. Music. When it comes to music, she doesn't have much. Since she shows up in Imperishable Night Stage 5 as a mid-boss, I'll include the stage theme. It's called Cinderella Cage Kagome Kagome. In Phantasmagoria, she has her own theme, Lord Usa's Elemental Flag. Gameplay. When it comes to the gameplay department, she's certainly doing better than Eren and Kaguya, as she does have a playable appearance. So let's review how she operates in Phantasmagoria. In the game, her movement speed is average, her scope style is eye-shaped, her focus speed is garbage due to it being the lowest. On the opposite side, her charge speed is really damn fast. Her scope speed is average. Her special ability is that she auto-bombs when her life reaches the last half orb, a good way to sneak in that last hit. Let's look at her spell cards in it. Her charge level 1 is called Chasing Two Rabbits. Two trails of flame appears to either side of Tei, and each trail moves to the opposite side, crossing each other to the front of her. Her charge level 2 is called Rabbit Sign Great Fortune Crest. A cluster of bullets appear in the center of the opponent's screen and expand into several overlapping rings of bullets. These rings of bullet also revolve in opposing directions. Every other bullet in each ring is removable, and because they are densely packed when they first appeared, one well-placed explosion from a fairy or ghost bullet is enough to remove all of them if it is done quickly enough. Her charge level 3 is called Rapid Sign Great Fortune Crest, same as her level 2 except that there are more bullets and all the bullets are now non-removable. Her charge level 4 is called Rapid Sign Bare White Rabbits of Inaba. Her EX ability is called Jeweled Rabbits. EX abilities are moves that try to hinder your opponents by either attacking them or putting them in a bad position. Much like Rainbow's EX, a ball appears at the top of the opponent's screen and moves downwards, floating towards and bouncing off the sides of the screen in the process. The ball maintains a constant horizontal velocity and has its gravity oriented towards one of the sides of the screen, so only bounces along one side. Spell cards. Now let's look at her spell cards. Now this is much shorter, so it won't be as annoying like Kaguya's. Her spell card for Imperishable Night is in fact her last spell, Ancient Duper, Last Word. For Shoot the Bullet, she has two spell cards. The first one is called Runaway Rabbit, Fluster Escape on stage 4-3. For stage 4-8, it's called Owing Sign, Voluntary of Onamuchi-sama. Relationships. Let's see Tei's relationship when it comes to the people of Gensokyo, mainly those from Aente. To start off, let's look at the other main rabbit, Raisin Udongain Inaba. Raisin is Tei's fellow yokai rabbit serving under Eren. Unlike the Earth rabbits, Raisin acts as Tei's superior, ordering Tei around and being in charge of looking after her. It is, however, completely up to Tei herself whether she listens to Raisin or not. Around Aente, Raisin also tends to be the unfortunate primary recipient of Tei's pranks. She'll live. Mostly anyway. Next would be the Lunarian genius, Eren Yagokoro. Tei made a deal with Eren to defend Aente in exchange for Eren imparting her knowledge to the rabbits. Thus, Eren is an ally, employer, and teacher to Tei, and Tei appropriately addresses her as master. Eren realizes Tei's importance to Aente due to her control over the rabbits, and despite Tei's pranks, knows that Tei is there whenever they really need her, should the circumstances arise. The next person to discuss from Aente would be Kaguya. Surprisingly, there's not much between the two aside from being an allied Earth rabbit. Mentioned in Tei's entry, Kaguya calls Tei and all the other rabbits by Inaba because she can't tell them all apart. At least she's not calling you douche or anything. Now this next relationship is regarding the rabbits in Gensokyo. All of Gensokyo's yokai rabbits, from Earth, not the moon, obey Tei. This is either a sign or a result of Tei's enlightenment and power. Tei knows every single yokai rabbit currently in Gensokyo, although this does not stem from the psychic connections that rabbits have. If a new yokai rabbit hypothetically came into being, Tei would not automatically know about it, although yokai birth rates are so low that Tei would probably find out very fast. Yeah, and after chapter 31 in Wild and Horned Hermit, we all know how you rabbit yokais are created now. Fun/interesting facts. Let's look at some of the fun/interesting facts about her. Tei is also a shady/suspicious character seen throughout Inaba of the Moon and Inaba of the Earth, such as her pillaging mode, which was seen in chapter 22, carrying a machine gun and wearing sunglasses and a mask. Tei ain't fucking around from the looks of it. In Oriental chapter 12, she was again seen with sunglasses but also holding a cigarette while selling colored rabbits during the Hakare Shrine Festival. Earlier, Inaba of the Moon shows that those colored rabbits were a scam, they're just painted. Why am I not surprised by that? In Inaba of the Moon, she's depicted as being fond of beer and again in Hopeless Masquerade. Looks like a certain person has been influencing this rabbit. For the last fact is regarding her playable status. Tei is the only original mid-stage boss character to become a fully playable character. All of the mid-stage bosses so far haven't, even those from future games. Dayusei, Kokuma, Lily White, Shizuha, Momoji, Kisume, and Tojiko. Fuck, some of them didn't even have names to begin with. So it's a pretty big testament for Tei to get a playable position. Fanon stuff. Let's review how crazy Tei can be when it comes to Fanon. Just like in canon work, Tei seems to be much of a prankster. Because she pranks on Raisin the most, some think the reason behind it is how the younger rabbit attempts to boss her around. This line of thought implies Eren makes requests in a more respectable manner. In the Chinese community, her given name Tei is usually converted into whatever the fuck this is. The choice of the Hanzi done by the fans is pretty interesting since it means emperor or god in Chinese/Japanese. Damn! The Chinese really love Tei, don't they? There's one thing about Tei in Fanon I didn't know till now. Brown Tei meme from a doujin work called Why Did She Leave the Miniature Garden Oni's Out, created by Reina. It shows a tanned skinned Tei talking about how Gensokyo can vastly differ between authors. Western fans say brown Tei to justify their own variations. I want to give a quick shout out to the Touhou Discord server for helping me find the doujin work. Pairings! Well, unfortunately, Tei only has one pairing, Raisin and Tei or Tei Wengi. Canonically, Tei often plays practical jokes on Raisin or frames her so that Eren can punish her. Yeah, that's all I got. But yeah, that sums up Tei's character profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Which fact about this prank-loving rabbit did you enjoy? Are you surprised at how old she is? Well, not as old as Kaguya and Eren, but when it comes to Earth yokai, she's up there. Would you take a gamble at trying to get Tei's legendary fortune while trekking the bamboo forest of the lost? Or do you feel sorry for Raisin for being the main target for Tei's pranks? If you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe, or else she might start pranking us, and fuck that shit! Either way, this is Magi and thanks again for watching.